Have you ever had a prospect who seemed interested, asked for a proposal, and then just disappeared? Well, look, you're not alone. Actually, 56% of agencies have reported that prospects are delaying decisions right now. That's some data from the Wow Company from their annual benchmarking study they've been running for the last decade. And along with prospects taking longer to make decisions, with the combination of that, the budgets being too small and a lack of leads, is it any wonder that new business has actually increased in importance from 26% to 40% in the last 12 months? So founders who want to step into the role of CEO of a profitable, growing agency can't afford to waste time on chasing bad leads. What they need is a qualification process that helps their team to focus on the right opportunities, not just any opportunities. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to share with you 3 simple scripts to help you clarify the urgency with prospects. Okay. So like I've found in many agencies, the founder handles sales themselves and qualifying leads based on relationships, past experience, and quite frankly, a lot of gut feel. Now, when you do that, that's not something that's easy to be able to scale, okay? So if you want to be able to grow your agency consistently, you need a sales system, one that helps you to spot the difference between a curious browser and a committed buyer. Because I found that curiosity isn't commitment. Just because someone is interested doesn't mean they're ready to buy now. It depends on where they are in the buying journey. So if you don't ask the right timing and fit questions, you're going to waste hours chasing leads who aren't serious or not ready to buy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share something with you I call the sales readiness gap. Now, when I understood this matrix and the numbers in it, it actually changed the game for me in terms of new business and the way I approached it. So I'm going to take you through this, and then after that, I'm going to talk or share a little bit more around the 5 reasons that prospects delay their decisions. And importantly, I'm going to share with you 3 really simple scripts that you can use and take away and implement in your sales process today. That's going to help you to actually really understand the urgency around where your prospects are in terms of what they're asking you for. Okay. All right, let's jump in. So call this the sales readiness gap. All right. Now, what I've found is, now this is through a combination of data from a few different places. Firstly, with Dean Jackson, also looking at the Chet Buyer pyramid, and just overlaying it also with my own experience, is that in B2B sales, whether you're an agency, a marketing agency, a creative agency, a digital marketing agency, and also a consultancy, any of those, what I've found is that 50% of prospects that you're talking to are never going to buy. Now, they're not going to buy from you, but they're also not going to buy from anyone else, okay? They're just never going to move forward and engage in an agency or a consultancy, okay? The second group is that of the remaining 50%, 47% are going to buy, but not in the near future. They're probably going to buy in 4 to 12 months. I actually find probably more like 18 months, okay? So 47% are going to buy in 4 to 18 months. Now, these are the ones that I call interested. So they are interested in what you do. They're probably in the earlier stages of consideration, and they're doing some research to understand what's involved and also what are the prices so they can then budget for it and plan for it in the future. The balance, which is the 3%. Now, depending on what type of work you do, it might be more like 2 to 3%, but 2 to 3% are looking to buy in the next 90 days, okay? And these are the ones that are actually committed, okay? So as I said, there's a difference between curiosity and commitment. Now, if people are shopping around, that's fine. They may just want some information. And we can give them information through case studies and other pieces of information, but we shouldn't be doing proposals for them. And that's one of the big things that I see is we do proposals and then we wonder why they've disappeared or why they aren't buying, okay? Because as soon as we've done an opportunity and done a proposal, then there's an expectation that it's going to close. Whereas it might just be that they're doing research and getting consideration made and they're not ready yet to buy, okay? So let's talk a little bit more. So the 5 reasons prospects delay buying, okay? The first one is generally just there's no sense of urgency or there's a lack of urgency. And so they're thinking to themselves, why now? Why do I need to do this now? Or if I do this in 6 months' time, what's the impact? If I do it in 12 months' time, what's the impact? So there's really just no sense of urgency around a real driving need for me to do this now. The second one is, to be honest, is just competing priorities. As you know, as a business owner, there's always competing priorities, and it's the same for our prospects as well. They've got a number of things they're juggling, and so they're generally thinking, is this the best use of our time and money? Or should our time be spent elsewhere? Should our money be spent elsewhere? Is this going to give us the best return on investment? Okay. The third reason is generally around uncertainty. So they're not sure if it's going to work. So they're thinking to themselves, will this actually work? Am I going to get the results that I want? Am I going to get the results that they're suggesting? Okay. The fourth area is just generally around return on investment concerns. They're thinking, firstly, is it worth the price? Which is why they sometimes go and get competitive prices from other people so they can compare. And the second thing is, will this pay off? Are they actually going to get a return? And the fifth is just a perceived complexity. Depending on where they are and what they're doing, sometimes they can just say, oh, this just feels too hard or too risky, okay? Now, some of these things, they're not mutually exclusive. They overlap, okay? But these are some of the 5 key areas where people are generally sort of delaying their decisions. Now, there's different solutions for each of these. What we're going to talk about specifically today are the ones where it's really around no urgency. And so what we want to do is I'm going to give you some specific questions that you can ask that's going to help you to understand the urgency. As I said, they may just be earlier in the sales process and they're just looking for information and doing research. And that's totally fine. We can then nurture those people that are not ready to buy. And it means that we're not doing proposals, investing a lot of time and energy into proposals and waiting or expecting for them to close. Right. So 3 simple sales scripts to clarify urgency. So the first one is really simple. Why is this important to you now? And why is this a now conversation? Okay, when we ask this is really around trying to understand what's the core reason underneath the reason why they reached out. So sometimes the prospect will ask, they're coming to us and asking for a proposal or information around what it is we do. So the tactical, functional things, whether that's search marketing, whether that's social media, whether that's a new website, whether that's branding, whatever it might be. And so they come to us with a prescriptive need around something. But when we ask this question, what we're trying to do is to understand why. What's actually happening in your business right now that makes this a now conversation? So usually there'll be a reason why. And so continue to ask this question, why now? And we'll get a layer deeper and a layer deeper. It's just really helping us to understand what's the driving reason. Also understand trying to localize the pain and trying to get them outside of thinking this is just a functional thing I need to actually this is important and it's something that I need to solve. Okay. The second thing is we want to try and anchor or really get clarity around their timeline. Now I've got 2 questions here. The first one is this something you just want information on for later or something you'd like to get working on sooner? Okay, now we're just trying to understand, is this a later thing or a sooner thing? Now, as an aside, you'll notice I say later first. Quite often we generally say sooner or later, but it's deliberately flipped, okay? So it means that they don't feel pressured in the sales situation. So we're saying, is this something you want information on for later or something you'd like to get working on sooner? So it gives them an opportunity to say, look, I'm just doing some research, working out what our options are so we can plan to do it in 6 months' time or whatever it might be. Now, depending on how you've gone with other things, they may say, well, actually, no, we want to do this quickly. We want to do this soon. Now, what I do is I then generally have a follow-up question because everyone's idea of soon is very different, okay? So the follow-up question is, I say, how would you rate the urgency between 1 and 10, where 1 means you'd start in 12 months' time and 10 means you'd start today? And I get them to give me a score, okay? So if they say, for argument's sake, well, it's a 9 or 10, awesome. That's great. Then we know that this is really important. If they say to me it's a 2 or 3, I know it's not urgent. Or if they say it's sort of 5 or 6, then we can do a follow-up question, which is, what would need to happen for it to be a 9 or a 10? And it's just another way to keep asking and really quantify the urgency, because sometimes people will say, yeah, this is really important, I need to do it now. And then when we ask this question, they say, well, it's a 6 or 7. So we know it's not as important as they led us to believe earlier, in which case, like I said, they may just need some information, just a high-level overview, or a sense of some case studies and some of the results or things, or some pricing guidance. That doesn't mean we actually do a proposal and a full budget and an estimate and all the rest of it, because that's wasted energy. And it sets up the expectation for us that they're going to buy soon, okay? So this is a really great one, really to clarify how urgent is it for them, all right? The third question is really around trying to change gears a bit and trying to get them to sort of quantify the pain as far as what's the cost if you do nothing? Because this helps to increase urgency, okay? So what's it going to cost if you do nothing? What will be the impact to you personally if nothing changes? Now, generally speaking, what it's going to cost, there's 3 areas. Usually it's around time, money, or freedom. Doesn't matter whether they're working in a large corporate business or they're working in, they're a business owner. Okay, generally they're sort of the things. And so we want to understand from them what it's going to cost. Now, sometimes they'll say, oh, I'll just be doing the same thing as I was before. And that's no big deal. Again, we're just trying to gauge what the urgency is. Sometimes it gives them opportunity to then have a reflection around it and sort of say, oh, actually, yeah, if I'm stuck doing the same thing, the business isn't growing, I'm going to go mad doing the stuff that I'm doing, whatever it might be. Generally, there's an impact, and that's why we say the impact to you personally if nothing changes. So use these 3 scripts, and the whole idea here is to stop guessing and start closing. We want to be really clear. Like in sales, we want to qualify people based around BANT, which is budget, authority, need, and timing. Okay, so these questions are going to help you certainly around timing. It's also going to help you understand a little bit more around need. Okay, so these scripts are going to help you to qualify faster. So the idea is that you only spend time with real opportunities and not the tire kickers. Okay, and that's how CEOs of profitable agencies protect their time and focus on the right deals. Qualified prospects equals faster profits. Okay. So if you want to know how many sales leads you actually need to hit your revenue target, check out my other video on how to calculate exactly how many leads your agency needs each month. I'll link it in the description. If this found this helpful, press like, also subscribe to get more strategies to help you to grow a profitable agency, and pay it forward and share it with someone who would benefit from this. Here's your next win. I'll see you soon.